show. I appreciate you tuning in for another brand new review. So what's on deck for you here tonight? Folks, we are here on the 6th episode of the latest installment of the newest addition to the Dexter franchise. Tonight, again, we are talking Dexter Original Sin. We have a number of questions that are still left without any answers this close to the end of this first season, and we are very much hoping that answers start to reveal themselves with only a handful of episodes left here. So let's jump right on into things. So, we know that after blowing the Levi Reed case, that Levi Reed's girlfriend show up to give him an alibi to excuse him from the murders that he was accused of, that he obviously did, that Harry ended up getting demoted to working homicide cases with LaGuardia. LaGuardia, played by Christina Milian, has not yet been given the same camaraderie or friendship of Miami Metro that the rest of the team has. She's still kind of building towards that, and working with Harry Morgan here is obviously going to help out with a lot of that, as once Harry starts to vouch for her, that's going to make her a little bit more friendly with everybody else as well too. Now, part of this is the fact that Dexter is still able to work these cases with Harry and with LaGuardia as well, and has been getting in this experience of seeing what murderers are doing, their motives, the way they kill, all this stuff that's going to help him become a better serial killer, as we know he becomes over the next few decades. And we've been seeing that Dexter and LaGuardia have been following around these certain cases that have seemed unrelated at first, but as Dexter realizes, there has been some connecting tissue between all these murders that they've been looking into. And it seems that there's a serial killer running around Miami right now that's killing a bunch of gay men and is escalating. Now, this goes to also help out Dexter with another familiar trait, which is the fact that we know that people trust his skills as a forensic technician. The whole idea here is that by the original show, whatever theories that Dexter throws out, whatever insight he thinks he has on a case, typically turns out to be true. And he doesn't have that kind of respect. He doesn't have the street credit yet with the rest of Miami Metro, so we know that he really has to start building his name up to be somebody that they can trust and look to for these kinds of answers. And LaGuardia, who has kind of been a bit of a chastising nature to him, is slowly starting to gain that recognition that Dexter knows exactly what he's talking about. So I enjoy that no matter what's going on, we're still getting to see Dexter do his work as a lab tech for Miami Metro, because he really needs to brush up on these skills to become the guy that we know he can be a little bit later on down the line. In addition to this, Dexter also gets to work on his social skills as well too, because Deb ends up pushing a double date between the two of them, Gio and Sophia, for a chance for Dexter to really get better with Sophia, but also for somebody to meet Gio as well too. Keep in mind, Deb's been dating Gio for a couple episodes at this point. She started doing it as a way of rebelling against Harry and the issues that she has with him, but she clearly is into the guy and wants Gio to be more involved with her family and her friends. Now, we don't still know all that much about Gio, so I am kind of still waiting for the other shoe to kind of drop here for what the reveal with Gio is ultimately going to end up being. Because at first, I think myself and a lot of people assumed that Gio was very much just using Deb to get some ass, and that was going to be it. But he's still around at this point, and you would think that if it was just about ass, he'd be gone by this point because he's already gotten what he's after. Why actually get close to the family? Which does bring up the theory that it's possibly him who's behind the kidnappings of these kids that are happening in Miami. We know that the mayor's son got kidnapped, and this episode, The Joy of Killing, actually started with Patrick Dempsey's character, Captain Spencer, his son Nicky, being kidnapped by the same assailant as well too. Now, I have theorized as far back as my recap of episode 3, possibly even in episode 2, that I do think that Patrick Dempsey's character, Aaron Spencer, is the one that's behind these abductions. Just for the fact that the moment that it happened, he was the guy that immediately was like, it's got to be the cartel. The cartel are absolutely the ones who are behind all of this, right? And it's like, that was super quick to come up with that theory when we weren't even really talking about the cartel all that much. And if we were, it'd be the involvement of Jimenez and Estrada that we'll talk about a little bit later on here. But none of that was really coming up, so it seemed very odd for him just to immediately go to that. And we add in that we get to see like the strained relationship he has with his ex-wife and her new fiance and with his son. It lends to the idea that Captain Spencer again could be doing this because it's a way for him to kind of look like a hero in his son and even his wife's eyes, maybe find a way to get back together with his wife. We don't know for certain, but I do believe that Captain Spencer is the one behind this. I am hoping that we're going to get something in the next episode or two that really reveals it, because we know the show Dexter and how it works, that we can't just introduce a new suspect in the last handful of episodes to be behind everything. It's got to be somebody we've been following this entire season, and so that leaves Gio, Captain Spencer, or Sarah Michelle Gellar's Tanya. And we haven't seen Sarah Michelle Gellar enough, which is a travesty. The fact that, again, she's not being utilized to her full potential. Clyde Phillips, if we are getting a season 2 or even a season 3, that needs to be fixed. In addition to this, again, Dexter became an official serial killer, as Dexter ended up finally catching Levi Reed at the tail end of his double date with Deb, Sophia, and Gio. And as him and Levi Reed get a chance to talk, Levi Reed points out that he's not remorseful or regretful for the murders that he committed, and that Dexter himself isn't that different, which we know is definitely true, because it's not the first time we've heard a killer tell that to Dexter before. Dexter has been told numerous times that there's nothing that separates him from the other killers that are out there doing, just by the fact that they're in the position that they're in now. And that is true, because Dexter has unfortunately either caused the death or directly killed a number of people throughout the tenure of these different shows that didn't have it coming at all. Most notably, the one that I provide as being the worst example, Logan in New Blood. Dexter has done this numerous times where he's hurt innocent people, and it goes as a reminder to show us that at the end of the day, he is a serial killer. So Levi Reed is not wrong here with his assessment of Dexter, and that they're the same at the end of the day. In our flashback sequences, we see that Laura is desperately trying to get out of this arrangement that she has with Harry. This is getting her closer and closer to getting killed, as we know that's what's coming up, and Laura is understandably terrified of what this could mean for her and her boys. And we find out that she's been doing this for almost a year at this point, and there haven't really been any arrests being done. Now, Harry, of course, is keeping her in this because he wants this relationship that he's developed with her, and of course, you know, in this episode, that ends up being strained as we find out that Deb has been born, and she's very much told, and Deb's mom, or Harry's wife Doris, is very much aware of the affair that Harry's having with Laura, and tells him to end it. We're getting to some very, very big heads here at this point, and we know that ultimately things are going to end with Laura dead, but I still don't know if that means the end of this first season is where it's going to happen. She's entrenched with Jimenez now, who she ends up having a meeting with, cuts off the finger of an associate. At some point, she's got to meet Estrada, but it's not like she's taking money off the top or cheating anybody out of this. So the only real way that they're going to find out is if they have a mole in Miami and Miami PD. And so I'm waiting to see where that's going to be revealed. Maybe that's ultimately the twist that we're looking for, that Captain Spencer was working with the cartel back then and tipped them off to Laura, and that leads to modern day. Who knows if that's where we're ultimately going with this, but we need to see something coming out of it though, because Laura is very clearly not happy with the arrangement she's in. Harry is very much being pulled in two different directions, and we know this is making for a better connection with him and Dexter, which explains a lot of the original show, but we're still not getting a lot of the answers that we need. And to top it all off, this episode ended with the cops finding Dexter's kill area. He's dumped a number of bodies in the glades for the gators to eat them all up, but we did see after he killed Tony Ferrer that his arm came back up to the surface with the ring attached, and that was gonna have to play out at some point. And now, a few episodes later, chickens are coming home at this point. So who knows where we're going with this, but we need some big developments here on the kidnapping case and in our flashbacks. Where do y'all think this is going? Let me know in the comments section here, and hit that subscribe button because we still got more great coverage of Dexter Original Sin coming up here in the next few weeks. The best way to get subscribed is to follow me at my link tree, which you can do at linktr.ee/T Scary Movie. If you get subscribed, that's going to give you access to the YouTube page page for the video versions of the show, your favorite podcasting platforms for the audio-only versions of the show, to my Letterboxd page for written reviews and movie rankings throughout the year, to my TikTok page for short horror content, including movie news, movie premieres, and full episodes, to my Twitch page for horror gaming, including The Thing Remastered and Phasmophobia, and to my Fangoria shop page. You can enjoy a 20% discount off anything in the Fangoria shop. Take advantage of that, folks. Hit that subscribe button. I got more great reviews coming your way, but that's it tonight. Stay tuned for more, y'all. My name is T. We've been talking scary movies. Stay scared.